Hi, it's Andy from Hobby Headquarters. Today we're going to be showing you some simple basic model tricks. This little video will be about helping you getting grab handles off of the sprue and getting rid of the little burr on it. First thing you want to do is with your sprue cutters, obviously get as close as possible to it. But a good way, rather than doing it like this by taking your file and get it, you can see the thing starts to flex, and I inevitably have broken a few of them in the middle there. This is something that I've been using lately. Taking your tweezers, get just both parts of the grab handle in there and getting just the little bit of burr sticking out. You can go over it back and forth a few times, moves around, and then when it comes out you'll have a nice smooth surface on it right there, all cleaned up. The next little tip I can give you is anytime you're removing really thin plastic pieces that have more than 2 connection points, sometimes when you go to cut this piece off right here, you'll put stress in the middle of the part and snap it. One thing you can do first is actually relieve the pressure in the middle of some of these by cutting the end part of the sprue. So when you go back over, cut that part out, and finally the last one. And by relieving that stress, you won't snap your delicate little parts. This next tip is for making antennas, and although a lot of you probably know about this, some of you don't. What you can use is old pieces of sprue and a lighter. You want to start it off and just start rotating underneath the piece just for a few seconds, and you'll slowly start to heat the plastic up, and then when it gets to that melting point, slowly start to pull it apart. And depending on how thick you want it, for how thick the antenna you want, lay it down, let it cool, and after a few seconds go right towards the edge right here. It's got your base already built into it, and there you go, perfectly straight antennas. Okay, this next tip is going to be making a weld seam using that same trick I showed you a little while ago with the stretch sprue. Take your liquid cement and say you wanted to put a weld inside this crease right here. Put a liberal amount of it on there. Take your stretch sprue, put it down up if you can get it in there. Take your X-Acto knife and kind of push it as close as you possibly can to it. Then the next step, what you're going to do is you're going to put a couple more really wet coats of plastic glue. What that's going to do is start to melt that plastic in there. And I'm just doing this kind of rough version of it, but it'll give you an idea. Then after it sets up for a few seconds, you're going to start to take your X-Acto knife and start to push at the back of the edge on it, and start pushing into that little piece right there, and the softened plastic will start at the ridges that a weld seam would have. I did one a little while ago, and you can see up and through here hopefully the weld, and you can do a lot more making bigger welds and stuff, but it's a good way of making weld seams. One more tip about using stretch styrene. If you ever have a crack or a crevice that you need to fill with putty, and it's decent size, rather than putting in a lot of putty into the little crack, try putting a little stretch sprue in there first, gluing it down, and then filling it in all around it with putty. You won't get the shrinkage that you would have if you filled in a big crack with all putty, and it'll actually hold up pretty well. We hope you enjoy our video, and stay tuned because there's more modeling tips coming soon.